This right here is where 90% of people fall short. It took me a very long time to realize that there actually are multiple moving components when it comes to lining that we need to align to get clean, solid, consistent, saturated work. What that means is we're gonna have to align our hand speed to our voltage. We're gonna have to pay attention to how quickly we're moving, how comfortable we are, the direction that we are going in. There is a chain of steps that need to happen, and every decision that we make within this chain of steps needs to be aligned for optimal results. For example, right here, I'm running at 4.5 volts. I'm gonna stay there. Instead of moving too quickly or anticipating, right here is where that 90% falls short. This anticipation is what guides people to make different choices. So let's say if you're anticipating that the paper is going to tear, then you're going to be too light with your approach and approach it wrong. Let's say if you're anticipating the paper can hold up to immense pressure, then you're going to go straight in and blow the paper out. So anticipation, in my opinion, is where most tattoo artists fall short. So instead of anticipating, we have to go in and practice to get concrete information to work off of. So for example, it took me a long time to realize that I have to get comfortable and stabilize my hand, identify my point A, which you see right here, and I'm gonna make it over to my point B, so that way I know the game plan. I need to identify that before I even get into creating the line. This is again where most fall short, is from a series of steps that are actually beneficial to their workflow. So what I would do is accommodate. I'm gonna make sure that the paper's down, kind of like stretch-like motions. And then I'm going to start from my point A and then slowly make my way over to point B while trying to capture the pin integrity. I'm not going for perfection or anything like that. What I am trying to do is apply it as cleanly as I can while staying on line. I'm going to taper out. You can see I got uncomfortable there, and I'm going to continue building this line from here. So you can kind of see I'm figuring out how to hold my machine, how I'm stable, and what works for me. What's working for me is I'm using this part of my hand to anchor down to keep me from doing all of this. So that's my stable point. I'm not really having my pinky out, just that's enough for me. I have a good solid grip on my machine, so that way when I'm tattooing, my machine isn't doing this at all in micro increments. So make sure you have a good grip on your machine, and the direction that I'm pulling in, I have to make sure that that's comfortable. You can see that I have my left hand holding the paper in place while my right hand lets the ink lets the needle make its rounds, and it needs to deposit the ink in a clean, solid, consistent, saturated manner. So these fundamentals all need to align in order to produce clean results. And this is that 90% where that I keep referring to that falls short, is that they'll overlook every single choice and then kind of just wing it, where some people will move too fast, others aren't finding straight stability, probably because one of these fundamentals is off. You could be moving too fast. If you're getting like too much damage, you could be moving too slow. It really is going to be on a per person basis, so there's no one definitive answer. However, I say this a lot, especially within my Fundamental Tattoo Handbook. There's no way around progress but through it. Anchor my hand, get comfortable, identify A to B. I have this much range of motion, so I'm not gonna work outside of that. Commit, let my needle make enough rounds so it deposits the ink in a clean, solid, consistent, saturated manner. Not by any means perfect, however, you get the idea. This can be on the go, anytime, any place practice. Up and down, diagonal, we get zigzag lines, a whole bunch of different exercises within these assorted tattooing workbooks.
Are you wanting to develop your tattooing skill sets? Now you can practice and develop anytime, any place with an assortment of tattooing workbooks that I've created. With these assorted tattooing workbooks, we can practice our basic lining all the way to advanced lining. We can practice shading, shading placement, dot work, textures, and more. All we are gonna need is a tattoo workbook of mine. We can use a pencil, pen. We can even use a tattoo machine with a ballpoint cartridge to develop our tattooing abilities further. That means that we don't need tattoo ink, we don't need napkins or petroleum jelly to get to practicing. Simply open one of my tattooing workbooks and get going. It really is that easy. You can get your hands on one of my developmental tattooing assorted workbooks by simply clicking the links in my description or in the pinned comment section below, or navigating on over to Amazon.com, typing in Daniel Yuck, and you'll see all of the assorted tattoo workbooks that I've created come up. If you have an Amazon account, be sure to follow my Amazon author page as well, as I would greatly appreciate your support. Should you have any questions at all, drop them in the comment section down below. I will do my best to assist you in the best possible direction.